During the Clone Wars, the Republic's fearsome clone army clashed against droids of the CIS's lethal droid forces. But what would have happened if the Republic used droids as opposed to their clones? Well, aside from the conflict no longer being known as the Clone Wars, the difference would actually be quite significant. So for this theory, we're going to say that both the Republic and Separatist armies are very similar in both size and capability. So the first difference it makes is tactics. Throughout the Clone Wars, the Republic favoured more advanced tactics, ambushes, making their numbers count and avoiding any collateral damage. A clone was essentially worth multiple droids, their army was more sophisticated. However, the CIS had numbers and that was their key advantage, and when holding such a horde, they favoured the tactic to simply overwhelm the enemy, destroying anything in their path and keep marching till the enemy was defeated more or less. But if both use droids, that changes this dynamic altogether. The Republic would be forced to use the same tactics, big army marching forward, almost absent of fort. The entire war would turn into nothing but a numbers game, so essentially it would just be an arms race, who can produce the most droids the quickest. The way the war will be won will be by destroying the other's manufacturing facility.
My lord, I beg you to let us use the secret weapons. We have 20 units ready now, and many more on the way. Thank you, my lord. Deploy the super tanks. Attack formation.
So the war would likely be far longer and drawn out, but this isn't the only problem. As I've mentioned, droids and the horde tactics they use cause a lot of collateral damage. It's the most basic and mutually destructive form of warfare. For this reason, the war in general will be far more destructive, both in resources and people. Only the most sophisticated of droids are able to act in a manner that minimises civilian casualties, and as we see, the CIS didn't have many of this calibre of droids, so we'll say that neither does the Republic. Essentially, this means the war will be far worse when it came to every world. By the time a victory had been declared, majority of the planet's residents, resources and general infrastructure would be in ruin. And finally, we have the Jedi. Throughout the Clone Wars, the clones served alongside their Jedi generals and even formed their own personal relationships with them and took aboard their philosophy of keeping the peace. But droids wouldn't do this. The droids wouldn't fight to save people, they'd just follow orders and advance in drones, and frankly, I doubt the Jedi would support this sort of action. I think it would create a rift. They wouldn't be the hardened generals that they were during the Clone Wars, as they would resent the army for what it was doing. For this reason, I believe the Jedi would avoid the front lines, and that would take away a major advantage the Republic had during the war. It's likely the Jedi would seek an end to the conflict as fast as possible, and their relationship with the Senate and the Republic as a whole would become frosty at best. But what do you think would happen if the Republic used droids, and how would it end? Thanks for watching, please like and sub for more Star Wars content, and follow me on Twitter at The Lore Guy for regular updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.